You're listening to the Psychic Coffee Shop Podcast Network.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course we've got Techie Joe over here in his messy office seat.
Hey, I'm just joining you guys live from the landfill.
It's not the landfill. Spring cleaning has began in my household.
It has. And it actually should be better once it's all done. I actually thought I bit off a lot more than I could chew. I thought I really could get it all done by Friday night, and yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, you try to clean the dining room and the office at the same time as cleaning the car and getting it summer ready.
Well, yes, while also taking it to get maintenance and, having an appointment to drive to in Charleston, and yeah.
Yeah, You didn't live in your planner.
No, I did, and it looked like so much free time.
No, you hadn't wrote it out.
Well,
Speaking of which, guys, you can probably expect within the next month or so a new planner video.
Yes.
Someone got me a new toy.
Yeah, someone was giving me a lot of shit for someone who got pretties.
Of course I give you a lot of shit. You don't use the tools you have.
Well, I do. It just doesn't always work out for me. Like, I didn't think I needed to schedule cleaning.
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
Please, I'm about ready to start looking at hourly planning. Hi, Mary. Hi, Melina. Hi, Brenda.
Hello. Sorry, I just realized I didn't have comments up.
Oh, goodness. Yes, we are. I'm enjoying readings. He's enjoying the vannying.
Yes, Ivana. I'm also his carer. I care, so he doesn't have to.
Obviously. Yes, it's a lovely, lovely new 18-month vertical planner.
Yes.
From Happy.
It doesn't start yet. You got a couple months.
It starts in July. So, I can move out of the teacher edition into mine. Into it. So that'll be fun to play with.
Yeah, because your starter is the teacher edition. I actually got you the non-teacher edition. Which you've been looking for.
Yes.
What? No, North Carolina. What?
Mary doesn't like the idea of going to North Carolina.
Okay, Melanie, we just need your date of birth in question, and we will get to it as soon as we can.
Yep.
If you're
great, we're having Colombian. No, it's not Colombian. It's Caribou.
Yeah, you're having Caribou Blend, which is my favorite. You sent me to the store and said, get this or whatever you get. And I went, okay.
Yeah, because normally I get Kona or Caribou.
Yes.
And I believe you're having a lovely English tea.
I am. Well, actually, I'm having a Earl Grey. So, yes, English.
Yes.
English as it gets.
Yes, he's having Earl Grey.
I'm sad. I've been a tea drinker for a while, and I'm not a bag person anymore. Tonight I'm having to be a bag lady.
Well,
Either that or we can just ruin the ratings for the show right now and be like, yes, I'm teabagging. But you know.
yeah. But it's been a busy week. It's continuing to be a busy week. We're getting into the Aries point. The fun of Aries point. Everything goes a little woo-woo and a little crazy.
Well, that explains my office.
Fresh new starts with an insane amount of pokers in the fire. All right.
Well, hey, but you got to admit, it's been weird and crazy. We started a story on Tuesday that we have a wrap up on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had outdated information when we went with the story.
Right.
And then, yeah, like I've gotten odd client questions this week. It's been weird.
Mm-hmm. It's been fun, though.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and take Melina's question.
Well, Melanie, 12-12-89.
Mm-hmm.
How is my year looking? Good or bad?
Well, let's see. All right. Actually, it looks like it's a decent year. We have the Nine of Cups here. This is what I call the bartender's friend card. You look at what you have and you compare it to what other people's have and you start feeling better about yourself. We have the Lover showing up. There's a partnership or a building of things. But there's a troublemaker in the industry because we have, of course, the Six of Cups, meaning the prodigal son returns. So, yeah, this year is going to be good, but it may be a little confusing.
Yep. All right. Well, Mary wants to point out Aries time is fresh new starts. Many of my happy joy projects started in Aries zodiac time. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yes. But no, that Aries point gets a little ticky boom boom sometimes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Again, like I think my office will be great once I'm done.
Yes.
It's just right now it's all a chaotic disaster is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like my office exploded.
Right. And that's why we've moved to having meals in the cafe.
Yes, basically we are now eating. It is so like y'all are seeing in shadow. But yeah, it's so bad that the dining room is off limits. It's like, just throw up the caution tape. Like I think we still have some of that from Halloween, right?
If not, there should be some in the trunk.
Okay.
Yeah, for construction accidents.
Yeah. No. But I did get my car cleaned, and the car looks really good. Have you even seen the car?
No, I haven't left the house.
Oh, God.
You know, I'm beta testing. I don't leave the house when I'm beta testing.
True. Talk about others Aries point projects.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, go on into your ticky boom boom.
Yeah, you know, for those that are listen to me or call me on Keen, understand that I'm currently beta testing some of their products. So you may get weird messages. Just call me back. Try again. We are in the midst of developing some new things for advisors on Keen, and I've been beta testing since July of last year. Some of their new products, and we're hitting little stag points as we grow and expand and people start using it.
Well, yeah, and some of them go well and some of them don't. Like some of them you like, and that's just even on the business side. Like because sometimes with the beta testing you end up with like entire weeks where it's like, did I even log in? Like, was it worth it to log in? Should I have just slept? Like that was a great way to make $20 a day. And other times it's like I just did an entire weekend in like 7 hours. I don't know what they've done, but I'm dying.
Well, I've decided there are times that I decide to hold Aeson hostage. And that's where I'm going to start doing hostage readings.
Yes. Well, and then you've got a new beta update that rolled, and my comment to you earlier was, let's hope this doesn't make Die Hard look like a vacation. So yeah. Oh.
Now we're getting into what you really want to know.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you want me to read it and you want to find it?
Sure.
All right. So Melanie says, I know it would probably be hard to find out, but I wish the cards would tell me why I'm having a hard time with my family.
And no, it's not hard to find out, honey. You just got to have the right question. This is why we say specific questions. What do you really want to know?
Yep. Something tells me that prodigal son card from earlier is going to be a part of this.
Actually, no, he didn't show up.
Oh.
Yeah. So first we have the Ten of Cups, which is all about family, home, and happiness. And there we go. Make the camera behave. All right. Then we have someone holding on to old emotions, old feelings from the past. They're not looking at you as who you are. They're looking at who you were. And you're trying to break out of that box. So you're not fitting the mold they used to think you were. So why are you having problems with your family? Easy. They see you as a 12-year-old and you're behaving and you're trying to be an adult. With that, you've got to put them in a box and go, no, 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 no. You will not speak to me that way. I am an adult. You cannot behave that way towards me. And no, I am not entertaining that conversation. And that may be like, get off my Facebook.
Kind of sounds a lot like the moment where like children have to sometimes turn around to their parents and go, my house, my rules.
Yeah. And that's really hard for people. People get really annoyed because I have this lovely theory I call the Pink Slip Society. Well, I will issue a pink slip to anyone. It's my life. I'm not required to be nice. He can do that for me.
Well, yeah, I try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to realize you're a young creator of your life. It's your life. And if they've got opinions on it, well, they can go and tell the 12-year-old you it.
I'm sure there's pictures somewhere.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's dig into the story we barely touched on.
Yes.
That everyone is like, well, why are you talking about this? The reason we're talking about this is go into the full story, and then we'll talk about while we're talking about this.
All right. So last episode, we were telling you about the new limitations that Cricket was announcing.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to effectively make a unlimited account necessary. Basically, you were going to have to sign up for a subscription in order to have unlimited uploads to Cricket machines. Now, that was the first version of what Cricket released and that was earlier last week. That was basically, I think, the 12th. Yeah. So then they turned around and early this week had just before, well, like a couple hours before we went to air, we didn't see it, had modified that and said, well, we'll let this have kind of a grandfather clause. And as long as you register your machine before December 31st of 2021, then you'll have unlimited uploads. But anyone after that is going to end up having to pay for those. This brought up a lot of questions for people and a lot of concerns as to, is that by the account and the account holder, or was that going to be by machine? So, for instance, I currently own a machine. I have the Explorer Air 2. If I, am getting my unlimited uploads because I have an Explorer Air 2 that I bought before December 31st, 2021. Oh, sorry, we've messed up Mary. Cricket, we're talking about the cutters, the cutter drawer, nice little handy crafting tool. It looks like a printer, doesn't act like a printer, does a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, CRICUT, not Cricket, the cell phone provider.
Yeah, we'll get them later.
Yeah, they're fun too. So yeah, so with Cricket, that was their thing. So the question was going to be, so if I go out and buy the Cricket Maker, which is the bigger, badder brother of the one that I currently own, if I go do that on January 1st, 2022, would I still have my unlimited uploads even if I didn't have the membership for their subscription service? That's where a lot of people got stuck. A lot of people have gotten angry. A lot of people have put their machines up for sale. A lot of people have vowed to buy anything but Cricket. All of this came on the heels of their preparing for an IPO. So an initial public offering of stock. Yeah. So the way this looks like it happened is they thought they would squeeze some more valuation for their company by pushing everyone into a membership, so they had all these paid subscribers, would inflate the value of their company. What ultimately happened is it actually probably did so much damage, I don't know if they're going to even be able to pull off an IPO at this point. Like, they're wearing so much egg. It's an absolute nightmare. So yeah, we've been following along with this one. Thankfully, where I'm a Cricket customer, I do get all the update emails. It's been absolutely hilarious, because now they have decided to say this in all bold text. So we've made the decision to reverse our previously shared plans. Right now, every member can upload an unlimited number of images and patterns on Design Space for free, and we have no intention to change this policy. This is true whether you're a current Cricket member or are thinking about joining the Cricket family before or after December 31st, 2021. They have hit mea culpa status, which we had talked about, and I said, I think that's where this is going to end up at. Now, this is part of a bigger trend in tech. Like, this is like one little microcosm of it happening, and it's really super simple to follow. But this is happening all over the place. Companies are trying to find ways to take hardware that you own. It's not just Cricket. It's not just any one company. And effectively, between planned obsolescence, subscription service requirements, to basically get you to keep opening your wallet to them.
Right.
iPhone does this every year.
Right.
At least once a year.
Well, and then we have like Cricket, like Mary brought up, the phone provider.
Yeah, they've also had a little fun recently. They have decided that despite the fact that one of the major companies that Cricket works with, because now Cricket is a MVNO, which is basically a virtual cellular provider. What that means is Cricket doesn't have any towers.
No.
They don't own towers. They lease usage of other companies' towers. So AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, if I remember correctly.
Nope, Sprint.
Sprint? Hold on.
Well, AT&T, T-Mobile.
Let's see. AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry. It's the same as actually Straight Talk.
Right.
We've been shifting out.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're leasing usage. Now, the best way to understand what an MVNO is does anyone still remember 1010-220? The lovely service in which you could pay a reduced long distance rate. Back in the day when people cared about long distance and you had the whole like phone thing yet. I was pretty sure Sprint and T-Mobile merged too.
Yep, they have.
Yeah. So anyway, it's the same concept. Is that you go in as a company, in this instance, Cricket, and you say, "Hi, I would like to buy several million minutes a month, and several million terabytes of data, and we'll operate as Cricket. We're leasing that service and that usage." So AT&T goes, "Well, that's great. We'll cut you this really cool rate because you're not like, Joe user coming in. We will sell you this amount of usage at a bulk amount." So at a bulk rate. That's what an MVNO does. That's all it is. It's no big deal. Now, what Cricket has done is, despite the fact that 5G is already rolling out, and there are whitelist approved phones for each carrier that are perfectly capable of 5G, and these phones are still 4G capable.
Mm-hmm.
Cricket has decided that they've decided two things. Is one, they are not allowing 5G on their network at this time, and they have decided to kill off their bring your own phone option.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if you have a bring your own phone with Cricket, it will continue to work as long as you don't have to replace the SIM card.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do, you will immediately be disconnected, and you will call customer support and sit on hold and eventually get told that because you either replaced your SIM card or got a new phone, they no longer have to provide those services.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if you have a 4G phone and you replace that SIM, you're most likely going to run into issues, probably 90th percentile.
Right.
Some may get through. But if it is a 5G phone, you will absolutely have issues, because when it reports the actual IMEI from the phone, it's going to show up as a 5G device, and their system's going to go, nope, not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. They are GSM, not CDMA.
Yeah, CDMA is going really outside the box anymore.
Well, it's still there. It's still there. Oh, come on.
Like beta videotapes.
Well, it's not. I don't know. To be honest, I know that there is a big difference between the two, but honestly, I always thought GSM was better. Service-wise, CDMA, I know, is a more digital-based technology, and tends to be really bad when it gets too far from towers.
Right.
As in, it doesn't handle a lot of interference.
Right.
Yes. Betamax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why Aeson got a new phone, and then discovered, I need a new phone provider too.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you want to talk about being in a mood. You should see him come home with his brand new phone, put his SIM card in it, and it worked for what, like 5 seconds?
No, not even that.
Oh, not even that. Yeah, and instantaneously kaboom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've gone straight talk for the moment.
Yes. Well, we're still rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're going to be rolling 2 other ones out this weekend. Well, I'm ordering this the weekend to roll out.
Absolutely. And so going backwards real fast, we did put a second SIM because he got a cool phone that has 2 SIMs.
Mm-hmm.
Did second SIM start working?
It hasn't. I'm going to give it to Monday. They haven't rejected it yet. I have to wait 2 business days.
How annoying. Can we just all agree that business days is some crap?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, that's just some crap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, if you're running a business in the 21st century, you should expect to be open 7 days a week, especially if you're offering like a nationwide service.
Exactly.
Like,
So,
good God.
we're giving them 2 business days. If it doesn't work, no big deal. I will just get a new LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we unfortunately did not port his old number originally.
We couldn't because they suspended it.
Well, it was suspended. You needed to get back up and functional so you could work. And we're like, okay, we'll sort this out later. And unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we're already a couple of days in. But now the first, now, like, because we did mine and his the same night.
Right.
And one, we weren't too sure if it would work the same because his number was currently under a lock.
Right.
With the carrier, with Cricket, given the situation that they had shut him down due to device, we didn't know how bad that was going to get for number portability.
No.
Because now that's an added layer of crap.
Mm-hmm.
So we did end up, when I did mine, I took my number with me. That's kind of one of my prerequisites is no, the number's mine. It's on business cards. I cannot afford to change my number. That means I go back to Vistaprint and I can't order 250 business cards to save my life. I will, however, order 2,500 business cards like it's nobody's business. And I can't afford that right now. Just as a general life thing.
Right.
Because I don't know what we would do. We could tile a floor.
Right.
We could. We've got that many business cards. So yeah. It's fun. But my number port took like 20 minutes. Yeah. Which is what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
So yeah. Crazy world. Gotta love it. But no. And so these are the things that companies are doing. Trying to force you to buy their product, their branded product. They're not liking this bring your own phone thing anymore. They've realized a lot of their money was in the phones and the control they have over the phones when they program those phones themselves, as well as the repeat business in offering you crappy phones. Or at least getting a truckload of money for really nice phones that you can't take with you.
Right, which is bullshit. So.
Well, but we knew it was coming. All of it, like, I think everyone in the bring your own phone, like, customer group knew this would happen.
Right.
Or at least some carriers would start trying it. They would be very against the bring your own phone after a while because, quite frankly, they really love that money, and for good reason. Like, it's a lot of money.
Right.
Because if you're buying like the carrier special, the $100 phone, or it's more like $150 phone now. That's usually like as far as you can push people on new phones, especially if you're a family of 4 and you're going to be buying 4 phones. 150 is usually about as far as you can push a lot of people before you have to start talking finance.
Right.
Because, I mean, $600 for phones,
Mm-hmm.
that taps out a lot of family budgets.
Right.
Quick. But those are also phones that end up being replaced more often.
Mm-hmm.
Typically. And they also, if they're contract-based, end up extending that contract.
Right.
Because no one wants to pay full price for a phone, ever. Until you start doing the math as to how much that phone costs you in service charges.
Exactly. Of course, we may be looking at contract phones because we definitely use it now.
Okay.
We're going to be looking around. We shop, and really, you should shop every year to 2 years and see what's out there.
Yeah.
Find your best deal.
Yeah. Well, and more importantly, try to shop with some money.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the hard part for a lot of people, and that's where a lot of people get stuck in really crappy cell phone plans.
Mm-hmm.
Is never like, as much as we all love great high technology phones, and believe me, I am so guilty. Sometimes you have to bite a bullet and take a crap phone for a few months
Mm-hmm.
while you shop around. Like, don't stop buying in panic.
Right.
Yeah. Well, lifespan can be 3 years if you're talking flagship.
Right.
Like if you're spending $1,000 or more for a phone today, typically 3 years is going to be your lifespan. Barring any accidents and unfortunates.
Right.
Theft, whatever. Because again, you're carrying around a $1,000 plus phone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the iPhone market, basically you're kind of carrying around a giant rob me.
Right.
Because that actually is a problem with owning high-end phones to begin with. It's also a massive problem for iPhones. iPhones, even if it's not the newest, latest, greatest, will continue to hold their value for a while.
Right.
But yeah, the problem with carrying a flagship phone is, one, it costs a lot of money today, and it can be potential. It's like wearing a big giant flashy diamond.
Exactly.
Those phones typically stick out. It's very easy to tell you have a nice flagship phone. They're usually bigger, better, faster, multi-camera, like they show themselves off.
Mm-hmm.
So it can make you a target.
Right.
To have like bags stolen or, other horrible things. Yeah.
Yep.
Mary's pointing out iPhones require a protection plan.
I don't like
I'm a little weird with protection plans.
See, I don't like paying for my hardware and then having to rent it also.
Well, what I haven't enjoyed is the actual setup of protection plans. Once upon a time, they were worth it. Like, I would have told anyone, if you're buying a brand new phone,
Mm-hmm.
get the protection plan. Like, it's $5 a month, and for like $50, they'll replace the sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Worth it. Now those rates have gone a lot higher. It's not necessarily $5 a month anymore. I'm not sure what the iPhone's up to, but I would not be surprised if that protection plan is now like $20 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also, I believe a lot of the smartphone replacement or the not the premium, but the deductible is, I believe, started to move upwards of $200.
Right.
So you're already paying 200 and something a year, plus you're going to pay another 200 to replace it. And always keep in mind that your insurance loses value over time. One, they're only going to really replace that as close as they can with what you have. Not and necessarily what you want.
Apple, it's if they will even do it. The Apple phone in itself is rented. You don't own it. You don't get to decide when you get to update it. You don't get to decide how you update it. When it dies, it dies. And that lovely protection plan, they'll look and go, sorry, you'll have to take that to Apple Care, and Apple Care will go, oh, sorry, it's unrepairable.
Well, now, the upside to cell phones, I will say, is that a lot of the replacement on that does happen through the cellular provider.
Right.
They may deal with that crap from Apple Care, but typically the insurance company isn't going to give you, or the provider isn't going to give you, as like, if they see obvious, like, the phone's dead, dude. But that still doesn't mean you're going to be getting, it's not like, as Brenda said, she had an iPhone 6 until last year, replaced it with an iPhone 11. So if, that's great, but if she had the, and I'm not saying she didn't, but if she had the insurance on it, and last year she had dropped it and destroyed it, she would not have gotten a replacement iPhone 11.
Right.
She would have gotten possibly an iPhone 6. Maybe, one, level newer, like something of comparable value. Brenda's in the no insurance category.
Yeah.
And that's my problem, is that especially with something like the iPhone, which does typically have a good strong 3-year life.
Yeah.
I will give it that. Is that your iPhone, 9 is still going to be going for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Your iPhone 10 or your iPhone X is going to be going for a while. But what you will run into is that if you're paying for the insurance, it's definitely diminishing returns.
Right.
Because that insurance price is not going to change month to month.
Right.
If you're paying, as Mary pointed out, it's actually $12.
Mm-hmm.
If you're paying $12 a month now, so that's $120 plus 24, so $144 a year. If you pay that over the next 3 years, by the end of that third year, you're really not paying for much. Because one, you should be able to get a contract replacement, and that would, or basically it's time for your upgrade anyway. Because that's now somewhere between 24 and 28 months, or excuse me, 24 and 30 months, which shocked me that contracts are now bumping up to like 30 months because a lot of people are choosing to finance their phone on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying, so potentially what you could be paying is you're paying your monthly service fee, plus your $12 insurance, which I'm sure if you finance your phone, you're required to have insurance. And then on top of that, you could be paying another $32 a month just for the phone.
Right.
So you start adding all this together, and that comes in as a pretty hefty phone bill month after month after month. And that's not just for 2 years anymore. That's for like 2.5 years, 30 months.
Right.
So it gets expensive.
Yeah, it's $432, which, gee, I don't know. That could probably replace most of my phones. Like, I used to have a real $200. I mean, this is the first phone that I've spent $6 on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. You were traumatized when the first time I bought a phone.
I was like, you got spoiled rich blood on you.
Well, see, that was the thing, though. You were coming in, and it was all new to you, like to bring your own device. And I'm like, no. This is like totally normal for me. Like, no. I make my money up later. Like, I'm good. Like, this phone's gonna like keep rocking for a while.
Yeah, it lasted 2 years.
Well, it did last 2 years, and if you looked at, but on the comparative side, doing bring your own device with Cricket, I had 2 years with a great phone for a lot less than if I'd gone to an actual, like if I'd walked in and done a postpaid contract. It is a huge investment. And it is a lot of sticker shock.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta love the vet discount. That's awesome.
Yep. All right. Let's go into something a little bit more like, oh my goodness. WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook had a world outage today.
Oh, no.
Yes. Apparently all their messaging services crumbled.
Oh, God. I take one day in the car. What the heck? Like, you got to drop me a link.
Yeah, you should have a link in one of your boxes.
Oh, one of them?
Yes, it is in your den.
Okay, got it. I'm getting there. So, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the craziness. So yeah, I gotta see this. Oh, massive outage. What?
Ooh,
1:21 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Ew. 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 Oh.
And my messenger has been crazy for days. I've had messages pop in that I know I responded to months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Pop in, and I'm like, okay. Thanks.
Well, I will say I had a weird moment because of my watch today, because I have a smartwatch. And I had noticed, and it was probably getting close to that time, that I started getting like a random dump of like everything that I had already gotten that morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Like, I just thought it was Facebook had a moment.
Yep.
Like, because Facebook has moments. Like,
Well,
I've come to accept them.
But no, there's been a few that's popped up. I'm like, and I replied to that. Let me go ahead and reply back to it again. So if you got weird messages from me that may have had to do with conversations we had months ago, that's why.
Oh, goody.
Yes. But I wonder how much of a national emergency this was, because WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger is an intricate part of communication. The same thing with Twitter. If we remember, President Obama asked Twitter not to do an update during one of the days that Congress was meeting.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
That's a little scary. That's a lot.
Yep.
Oh, so North and South America, the Middle East, Europe, and Asia did not appear to be regional. Yeah. So resolved by 2 p.m. and by 2:30 began to resolve at 2 p.m. By 2:30, everything was pretty much back online. That's not bad. That's a pretty short downtime when you're talking about a company that a company and a service that massive.
Very important. Very important.
Facebook's developer status dashboard made no note of the outage.
Well, of course not.
Sorry. Oh, what? Down Detector didn't corroborate it. Oh, come on, Down Detector.
Down Detector doesn't detect anything.
No, well, okay, granted, it always says Suddenlink is down somewhere. And that's probably true. Like, I swear to God, it's like an old, I swear, Suddenlink internet service. I swear it's got to be on a switchboard somewhere. Like someone has to be, like there's a maximum number of connections to the internet possible. And they just have to unplug a market every once in a while so they can plug another one back in. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how Suddenlink stays afloat.
Right. So, we've got a few things that we want to go into. I got some good news this morning.
Ooh, good news.
Yes. I had my news beat while I'm enjoying my morning shower. And I'm like, yes, finally.
He literally did. I had to ask him when he got out of the shower, what was that about? So tell them.
Well, our favorite, Marjorie Taylor, the substitute senator, representative, has been suspended from Twitter.
Yes. And removed from committees.
Now she may be expelled from Congress. We can hope.
Well, one can hope. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but one can hope.
They're moving towards it, and I hope they do. And we need to do this with the other Trumpican idiots. Out the door you go. Bye.
Well, and especially those that are going to keep like encouraging a lot of the I don't even just want to call it negativity. It's the outright. It's not just like you hate this president and you didn't vote for this president and you're angry about this election, But like that's one group of people, and that's like a group of people we expect and we intend
like
to.
Representative Mooney, which, by the way, if you're following me on Twitter, I've been busting his chops all week.
But so there's one group of people that just don't like Biden, and fine, whatever. We didn't like Trump, We didn't try an armed insurrection or hope for one.
Right.
I mean, there was a brief moment we were kind of like, we talked to the Queen about, maybe 1776 was a bad idea. Like, sorry about the tea.
I would love for England to take the United States back and we become part of the Commonwealth in a heartbeat. Why? Because let's look at the citizens and how they've been treated. COVID response. This is their COVID response. All right, everybody's getting checks. Everybody's keep your asses in the house. You're going to wear a mask if you come outside. You go get groceries, and you're to carry your ass back home. If that ain't happening, we're fining you. Meaning those checks we just gave you, that 2,000 pounds a month, we're going to be taking 500 and some of that back each time you decide to go and put yourself at risk. Healthcare for everybody. There's no damn debate about it. You get universal healthcare. You show up to the hospital sick, you get cared for. That's been going on for years. Oh, you want to get married? Great. Wonderful. Here's the lovely tax benefits. Here's your certificate. Go do it. There's no debate. There's nobody telling women what to do with their bodies in England.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So lots of things there.
And
no, but I mean, granted, I still think most of like what was said after Trump was elected was in jest. Literally, I don't think anyone was planning, a insurrectionist coup, treasonous thing. Not to the level that this has been. Like QAnon, like, this multiple, like, now we're up to, what is it, tomorrow is the next day of their Lord and Savior Trump returning to office. Like, this is the 10th prediction or something.
Yeah. He's on Fox News now running his big, someone needs to put him back in his diaper and stick him back in Florida so it can sink off the planet.
Well, even Florida's trying to avoid that. Can we just point out Florida's trying to avoid a bad thing? Like, Florida's pretty kind of like, meh.
No, they're like, oh, I don't know what we're going to do with him. He's only supposed to be here for 2 weeks. He can't live in this house full time. And hopefully the city will move quickly to retake Mar-a-Lago and put him back to being homeless, because that's what he's staying in, is in a resort. That's a hotel. We have a former president that is technically homeless, that's supposedly a billionaire,
that has managed to have a hotel in Washington, D.C. that is faltering. How do you manage to have a property in D.C., a hotel that is faltering? Like, how bad does your management have to be? How bad does your reputation have to be? How bad does all this have to go that you manage to have a hotel in D.C.?
I think it's going to become very evident that he hasn't made money, real money, since he divorced Ivanka. Like, that woman, I'm sorry, she took her divorce settlement and made money. He, I think, has spent what she made. Like, but that's money. And this new one, his new ordered bride, she ain't putting up with this shit. I expect divorce within the year. Like, she's going to let the press die down, and then she's going to divorce his butt.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to end beautifully. But yeah, so Mary points out overcharging room rates.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. But then again,
I don't know, trying to throw the government, which the city is making is the whole reason the city exists. Might be something. It might be like sleeping at Jefferson Davis's house during the Civil War.
Fair enough. Man.
But yeah, we just need to throw all the QAnons out of the government. We need to see massive resignations from Ted Cruz. We need to see a resignation from Turtle Myrtle. Get him out of Kentucky, and he's trying to lay framework for that.
Well, and just to clarify, this isn't about a difference in politics.
No.
This isn't about a difference in opinions. This isn't about, a disagreement in how to run our country. This is about you literally encouraged people to go and overthrow our government.
Exactly.
Like, that's not a disagreement.
No.
That's sort of like, like you get a C on your report card and, your dad holds you at gunpoint. Like, that's not not I don't know. But like that's that's beyond.
That's not to represent the people. They failed to represent the government. And while we're at it, let's just get rid of Miss Ladybug too. I mean, I know the escorts of DC will be upset with the loss of income, but let's go ahead and get him out of there while we're at it.
Sadly, I don't know that Graham is 100% made like the case for himself to be removed. Like,
he's made the case 100 times to be removed.
Well, he's done a lot of horrible things, but I'm just saying he has been very careful to straddle a line.
He has been a yup boy, let me lick your boot boy since the day he went into office and filling his paycheck and not doing a jack shit for his people.
Well, yeah, and that's pretty much normal politics. And like that's a disagreement in how, like, that's disagreeable. Like, that's a thing we can agree or disagree on. And I don't mean I disagree with you. I'm saying people can agree or disagree as to the effectiveness of Lindsey Graham as a representative.
Right.
Now, I think he's skirted close to, the same line of like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley. And of course, Green, Taylor Green, but like very close on that line. But he's always backed away. Like even on January 6th, he was very quick to go whoop, nope, nope, hit reverse.
Yep, but on January 7th,
reverse,
right back with like, oh, let me do this, let me do that. No. What should have immediately happened is the leaders of the Congress and the leaders of the Senate should have immediately went into office, ordered the army to remove the insurrectionists, and then order the army to eliminate the insurrectionist leaders. Didn't happen.
No. Mostly because they were left in a position not to be able to do that. But that's slightly different. But again, it's not about disagreement over political choices.
Right.
Or political beliefs. I'm sorry, QAnon is not a political belief. It's a cult with a political aim. And that political aim is not to disagree. It's full outright anarchy.
Right.
And an overthrow of our government. Like, and all of its lovely protections and all of its lovely, Constitution and Bill of Rights, and we're going to go into martial law, and we're pretty much going to end up with a dictatorship. That's not a political disagreement. That's treason. That's a problem. That's not a disagreement.
And they need to start using those laws. We had the laws put into effect during the 1800s when the Civil War occurred. We need to immediately go back to using them.
Yeah. Like, in case anyone else needs the illustration, I disagree with Jim Justice's plan for income tax. I disagree with Senate Bill 334 in the state of West Virginia regarding needle exchange programs, which, by the way, I wrote a whole thing on that. I disagree about that. I am not forming a group to go kill anyone. I'm not planning to show up with zip ties and do anything to anyone. I will, however, write some really nasty stuff about the topic.
Right. It's like, I don't like Representative Mooney. I don't like his politics. I don't think he represents the state of West Virginia with authority. I don't think that he expresses any views of his district in Congress. I will harass every tweet he does. He tweeted today about, West Virginia volunteer program. And I tweeted back at him, would love to see you at the food pantry passing out food. He tweeted out being upset about, the stimulus package passing the Americans. I said, what? Is it, bad for your people to get money to survive when you're not even providing what third world countries do for coronaviruses?
Yeah. That's a political disagreement. Like, kind of a fun little illustrative point. Like, angry letters are one thing, car bombs are another. We don't support car bombs.
No.
Angry letters and angry phone calls and angry emails and angry petition signatures, A1.
Yep. Being very involved in the next election, doubly A1.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, only vote once.
I'm only going to vote once, but, if
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I would even take Turtle Myrtle if he swears he will do something for the state.
Sorry. It was a news item this week about how much goes into trying to find election fraud. And the fact that when we find it, it's typically such a low number. Oh, well, and has been. It's not just typically, it is repeatedly such a horrifically low number. It's not even a margin of error in terms of voting. Like, it's not going to influence an election. Like, 16 people, 10 people.
4.
Yeah. You're not going to change it. Like, maybe dog catcher. You might change dog catcher. That's it.
Well, your dog catcher might get an extra. I could see him being dog catcher of Greenbrier County.
Pardon?
Representative Moody. I think he'd be a great dog catcher for Greenbrier County.
I did not know you were a cat person. What did the dogs ever do to you? See, that's a political disagreement. But it's mean, it's hateful.
It's truthful. He's getting more done, and at least the dogs will keep him in line. But anyhow,
yes.
On a follow-up story that we covered this like at the beginning of Mountain Bears. Former Beckley pharmacist gets 11 years in prison for running a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, and that one's a whole hot mess. Like, yeah, well, yeah. So, pharmacist running a 2 different companies that were also investment opportunities, all built around the idea that she had government contracts, which she never did. And she effectively got a lot of investors. Yeah. In case you weren't remembering. Like, took me a minute when I saw it the other day. It was like, I know the story, and then it took me a minute. Yeah, it was a whole hot mess. So basically, she took all this money from people, used it to create a legitimate or illegitimate Ponzi scheme in which she used the money from one set of investors to pay earlier investors a return on investment. but most of the money actually went to finance her own business, her pharmacy, and her personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 11 years.
Yeah.
And how much was it in that the punitive damages? Like, I think it was $2.5 million.
Looks to be about $2.5 million plus fines, fees, and all that stuff. $2.6 million is what she took from her victims and has to pay retribution wise.
Yeah.
This is our own little, what is his name? Bernie Madoff.
Yes.
In a white coat, so people trust her. She's a
pharmacist. That's typically a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it's all confidence scam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she looked like she was a legitimate professional. She acted and conducted herself like a legitimate professional. She was someone that could inspire confidence and trust in others, in her. So it ended up, everyone thought this was all legitimate. Like, why would, it not be?
Right.
And that's typically how all these work. That's your base, charismatic formula for cult leaders and pyramid scheme leaders. Like, that's your minimum requirements. You gotta have inspire a lot of confidence.
Right.
Gotta make a lot of people happy.
Right.
So yeah. Unfortunately, that's the only thing she was good at. Actual business acumen or sense, and the ability to properly represent herself.
Right.
She figured out a good lie to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one that sounded legitimate. She did a lot to make it look legitimate. I'm sure she spent a ton of money on like business graphics and business cards and, hire a couple of people, make it all look legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
Even though not one contract.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now, we're getting great news out of the Department of Education. They are forgiving, I believe, $1 billion in debt.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, from like TDIA, those who went and got, that went through Phoenix, those that, basically they're reviewing every loan that went through anything that was a for-profit school.
Yeah. And this was actually something that Betsy Devos got into a lot of hot water for.
Right.
She was supposed to have done this during her tenure.
Right.
She was actually, I believe, found in violation of a court order for not doing that.
Yes.
Because there were a lot of these loans for schools that either went bankrupt or totally misrepresented themselves.
Exactly.
Like, in terms of what you could expect out of getting that degree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they would promise you, like, an 80% placement rate, and their actual numbers were ridiculously below that. Exactly. It wasn't like a small misstatement. It wasn't a small read the fine print. It was nowhere did they have an 80% placement rate.
Right.
There was no way to turn the numbers to get 80%. Didn't happen. So a lot of people took out loans, especially for for-profit onlines. But additionally, even those with campuses were misrepresenting what they could actually offer students in terms of what the degree was actually legitimately worth in terms of getting a job.
Right.
Like,
and most of the degrees weren't worth the paper they printed them on. But, federal loans were took out for them to pay for them, and, students have been having to pay them back. This is interesting. I wonder I think our next line will be seeing anything under 10,000 forgiven.
Well, that was a large part of the run-up to the election. Was a very big debate about student loan forgiveness, given the massive impact it is continuing to have on students, especially given that this is not 1963 or 1953. You cannot work a part-time job, have an apartment, and go to school and graduate debt-free.
Well, you can, but it's not fun.
No, you literally can't. Like that is actually where we are at financially in education. And getting an education has gotten so expensive that you just, like, in some very rare community college situations, and small and like some weirdo for-profits, which are probably not going to get you a job, you can potentially, with your student loans, cover it. But I mean, like, your traditional four-year education, there were a lot of people that, in like my instance, I graduated despite all the scholarships and grants and everything else I was getting. I still graduated with $50-some thousand in student debt.
Right.
That's a large chunk of money. If you are looking at that back, a few decades, I most likely would have probably graduated with zero debt. Or if I'd had anything to pay back, it would have been something I could have easily made my first couple of years. That, I was not getting a doctorate. I didn't get a doctorate. I did not get a master's degree. My bachelor's, after Pell Grants and all of this, was still $54,000 or $50-some thousand. It's a ridiculous number.
Right.
And it's only gotten worse because you got to remember, my degree I got 16 years ago. My degree has a driver's license. This has been steadily going up. Now the new average is somewhere around 100,000 after your student aid.
Right.
After all your student aid hits, you will graduate owing 100,000.
Yeah. So I think forgiving 10,000, hell, forgive 20,000 would be important. What I'd love to see is, there was a gentleman back in the 80s who took Visa, who is now under antitrust, but we'll be talking about that on Tuesday investigation, because we needed to be a little bit more fleshier for me to talk about it. Took Visa and MasterCard to the Supreme Court on slavery laws and indentured servant laws, and won. I would love to see someone apply that to the Department of Education student loans.
Okay, what was the premise there?
That they had allowed his credit limit to get so high that literally he was going to be enslaved to paying them till he died.
Okay. Interesting. So it was not only that his credit limit went up, but his utilization. Like, they had let this spiral.
Right.
Like, he kept making his minimum monthly. And his limit and his, and he was never touching the principal. He was just adding.
Right.
Ooh. So, yeah. Well, and honestly, we could just about say that's where some student loan debt is at.
Exactly. That's why I would love to see this tried at the Supreme level. Because I think it would change a lot. Because that changed a lot of credit card laws and regulations and the things they could do with it. Well, hello, Ashley, darling. How are you?
Hi, Ashley. Did Mika ever make it in? I want to hear the rest about her situation. She had posted in the break room.
Yep.
Like, I want more. I need details.
Yep.
But anywho.
So that will be interesting to see what happens. Because of course the House is going to take it up. The Senate is going to get pushed to take it up. Right now they're dealing with immigration and an immigration plan that is actually sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like farm workers may actually get real citizenship. I saw that book. I have not read that book, Ashley. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. I may read it with you. Because I've got some book credits that I needed to use.
Hey. Oh, there we go. I'm seeing it now. So the Secret Language of Destiny?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know the author. Like I said, I've never looked at the book. I'm going to be checking it out.
Very cool.
And if it is on Audible, I will probably have it read by Tuesday.
Yeah, so Mary makes the comment that basically was her reason for finishing the 4th undergrad year online. Mm-hmm. Debt is terrible. Yes, it is. And it's a nightmare.
It is. This is the reason, and, when I look at my degrees, I'm glad I went to a school that said, nope, we don't do federal funding. We don't do, we are not federally funded. You cannot grant through us. You have to pay by course.
Yeah. Well, and in some ways that does end up making it a situation which you do have to decide very quickly. Like, the thing that hits me and has hit me like kind of after the fact, is ultimately what we're doing with education is through student loans, we're kind of handing students a credit card and saying, hey, do you really care? Like, you're going to make this back over your lifetime. So, it's an investment in your future, just, go charge whatever it costs. Effectively, that's what we're doing with education is here's a credit card. So you kind of, and my point being, you end up in that loan situation having the same activity and reaction to some degree that you have with, like early adulthoods using a credit card, in which you're not really, it feels you're not as connected to that money. Right. You're not really thinking about that money. That money is not something that has to come out of your wallet today or tomorrow even. It's just somewhere down the road in a few years, you're going to have to pay that off. And it makes you a lot more price elastic. Right. As in you don't really get all, and nor do most students, get all that caught up in how much this is actually costing them.
Right.
And what this is going to look like, for their lives 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So, yeah.
Right. But it's terrible. So, that's why I like ULC Progressive. We have to pay for our things. Like, I'm technically a doctor, but I've got to pay for the last part of my thing before I can get my doctor. And then, yes, I will be Dr. Aeson Knight.
Yes.
Yes. Or as
technically, you are literally all but getting the piece of paper.
Yep.
Like, you literally just have to send in your money for the piece of paper.
Yep.
I swear.
Which I might be doing tonight. I mean, because it's been sitting there for a year. It's about time to pay it off.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Because what? It was like, what, $50?
It's like $35. And that's the difference is, like, some of my courses are like $285 to $300. Just the course. You do the course. You pay that. You do the course. I do not understand why other educational systems cannot operate this way.
But yeah, sorry. I started calling you Dr. Dick the minute you got it.
Yes. Yeah.
What? Sybil was my favorite show of the 90s. Okay, guys?
Uh-huh.
Like, I always wanted to be, Marianne Thorpe and just be like, Dr. Dick.
Well, you can do that here soon.
I've been doing it all along.
I know.
Aw, you got a
Thank you,
happy
Mary.
birthday.
Yes, I've moved into my birthday season.
Mm-hmm. You have. And this is how many anniversaries of 29?
Enough. I am old enough to buy cigarettes. I am old enough to drink. I am old enough to file taxes, and I have better insurance than most people. We'll leave it at that.
Basically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're still ticked about that thing that we kept getting told when we were younger, is that, you know, like, because you end up with all these milestone birthdays, and the last, like, really big one is supposed to be 35 when you can rent a car without a credit card.
Uh-huh.
What the hell happened to that? I turned 35 and tried to rent a car without a credit card, and I couldn't.
Yep. But no, this is my birthday week, the 19th through the 27th. The 27th is technically my birthday. I've reached the age where I'm taking at least a full week.
Aww.
And of course, on my birthday, we're having Power Saturday. Readings will be on special. Thank you, Mary. I paid lots of money to stay looking young.
It's his one exception to the no sacrificing children thing. Oh, what? Oh,
like that.
No. That's from Auntie Mame.
Uh-huh.
That is a direct quote. How old do I look? Oh, I don't know. Somewhere between 40 and death.
Uh-huh.
It's from the song Bosom Buddies from the musical Mame. Okay. It's great. That's a great song. You'll love the rest of it if you like that line.
But no, I have reached the age where we do not count numbers. We do not count anniversaries. And me and Def have had a discussion, and he has decided that he's going on vacation for a while because he doesn't want to deal with me.
Oh, okay. This is a TikToker who does a lot of Mame and Hepburn.
Cool.
Fair.
Brenda, share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, send a link.
Well, send it over on TikTok, and I'll send it to Joe. Joe does have a TikTok. We have gotten Joe to TikTok. It is about him and his experience dealing with people.
You know, I'm not sure I want that out there yet. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm thinking I need a re-TikToking.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Mary, remember, I have a book that reminds everybody where the bodies are buried.
Speaking about bosom buddies, I'm just trying to figure out which one starts screaming at the other that sex and guts made you into a star.
But anyhow. Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea, Joe. You've been wondering what to do on TikTok? Tech tips.
Absolutely. Though I'm afraid it'll turn into like that one lawyer who had a his Facebook turned into like stupid things not to do in a courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm afraid that's what my TikTok will become.
That's okay.
Like, I've got like a list.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't ever do this.
Uh-huh. I know, Mary, and I have yours too. But let's both agree to neutrality. We won't reveal each other's age or where we've each buried bodies at.
Oh, you gotta love mutually assured destruction.
Yep. Do stupid things not to do with your tech series. Like, do not put your phone in the dryer. It will not dry it out.
Please do not charge your phone in the microwave. It doesn't work. Please stop doing that.
Nor does it work with rocket books.
Most of them. There is the Wave series. It is very different from the Core series. Not to be confused with each other. The Core does not microwave. It turns into a plastic heap of ew. The Wave, however, does with a cup of water.
May have been like 3 minutes from that.
Do what now?
Somebody's rocket book may have been like 3 minutes from that. You know, when someone was trying to be a helpful husband.
Oh, Lord. Is that why you asked?
Yes.
No. No. I'm about to go from carer to the person who appoints you an intermediary to touch technology.
Well,
like we just put you back there with a typewriter, a legitimate one, and it on the other side of a big giant piece of bulletproof glass, it kicks out a piece of ticker tape.
So we've got 10 minutes. Do you want to talk about this?
What?
Oh, I don't know. How old is this? And how much life support is it on?
Oh, it's not even on life support. It's just waiting for, well, it's not really legitimately on life support. It's just on like continued functionality support. Like once you, like we're literally debating pulling the plug on that poor bastard. And that's what, 3 months?
3 months old, and the control is not working on the left side. The space bar sounds like I am chiseling wood.
No, you cannot use water to clean your hard drive.
Of course not. You use Windex.
Yeah. No. No. Technically, you can clean a hard drive with isopropyl alcohol, but that is something best done in a clean room with experienced professionals, and it's still a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a last-ditch effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't clean waters, clean hard drives with anything ever.
Windex.
No.
Yes, it gets the dust right off the cases wonderfully.
Brenda, to answer your question, you know that old joke about monkeys and Shakespeare? Well, he hasn't created the works of Shakespeare yet, but he keeps banging on. What? That was a good one. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a moment. Bellark? My brain's not bringing. Pardon?
It's a brand.
Oh, I apparently missed one. I'm a Logitech boy.
Yeah.
Like I until him, I'd never met anyone that could kill Logitech so well.
Hey, at least it's not Microsoft. Microsoft, I melt. I was in the middle of a reading and melted the keyboard.
That's fair.
And you guys got to remember, and let me do a little explanation here. When I learned to type, I had nails, a 2-inch long nail. So I learned to type at 2-inch long nail. Well, now my nails are much shorter, and yes, they need done. I know. I will get to it. It's on my to-do list. So I'm now hitting the keys a little harder, but it doesn't matter. I've had people say they can feel my keys through their keyboard.
Oh, that's why I was having problems. I'm not opposed to software license management. I just unfortunately typically don't deal with people that are all that interested in software license management. We'll leave it at that. If you're in IT, you know what I just said. If you're not in IT, then don't go looking too closely at my resume. That's all I can say for that.
Mm-hmm.
Software license management has not been a big part of my career.
Right.
I only really have one client that is super into making sure they pay for their software.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And actually, it would almost be easier for them to not.
Right.
Like it's software management is a nightmare. Like, and I think that is a big thing to point out.
Right.
Between subscription-based services, the fact that no one is built for nonprofits, and I mean, not from the ground up, like they're not used to working with nonprofits ever.
Right.
And moreover, a lot of software companies really they don't have a good plan for managing business clients.
Right.
Like they really don't. Like they're okay if you're like one-to-one, if you're a software user buying a license.
Mm-hmm.
But no, but if you're asking if I've had any experience with Bellark, no, I haven't.
Right.
I have not gotten to play with that.
No. So this is interesting. The scientist behind biotech, which biotech is the Pfizer vaccine, the one we got, their next target is cancer. Because of what they learned out of the corona vaccine, they believe they can vaccinate against cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Cuba had the cancer cure 40 years ago.
Well, going back to Mary's thing real quick, just throw that in there. No, I don't think there's I think Verizon was the only company that ever managed business cell phones with any kind of like decency.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, no, T-Mobile was not built for business clients.
No.
Like they never quite got there. Now, I will go back and say though that Research in Motion, BlackBerry, actually did really well with business clients on both sides of the coin.
Right.
But T-Mobile was still really wonky there for businesses.
In this area, especially since we never got a true T-Mobile.
Well, yeah, we don't even have T-Mobile technically. I mean, like if you look at a map, supposedly we do, but we don't.
Right.
Like we have a T-Mobile store in Charleston. I don't know anyone with T-Mobile, if that tells you how well they're doing.
Right. Now, I love T-Mobile. I loved T-Mobile when we were in Seattle. It worked lovely while I was there. Came back to West Virginia, and it was crap.
Mm-hmm.
Boost Mobile the same way. But this is the problem with West Virginia's infrastructure. We do not have comparable cellular data.
Yeah, Research in Motion is a wonderful company. I like them. I like dealing with them. They well integrated with business applications back in the day. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like it started as a device and a company and services that were all built around business people. You actually had more problems if you were not a business client.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were trying to go in and it's like, I want the shiny because I like shiny, you were going to have more problems than walking in and it's like, hi, I need like 400 of these.
Yes. I loved my BlackBerry.
Hey, 2010 with 3G in West Virginia on T-Mobile service. Mm-hmm. Wow, how much did T-Mobile pay for you to be here?
That would be
because there was no way you were on a T-Mobile tower. You were roaming up one side and down the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like that had to have been like that would have had to have been AT&T,
right?
Fill in the gap. Because if it worked here, I mean, Verizon's a bit shit here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Verizon's spotty all over West Virginia. Like just
right.
But AT&T is good here. T-Mobile, they say they're here, they're not here.
Right.
The best they can do is roaming to hell and back.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, guys. Well, have a great weekend. We will be doing some things this weekend. If you're part of the Mountaineer Pagan Nexus, we do have our Nexus meeting this weekend. Happy Star to my Wiccans.
Yes.
Guys, if you want your spots for Psychic Saturday, go ahead and grab them now.
Oh, sorry, I was reading Mary's comment.
Okay, well, you can read Shannon's comment behind it.
Oh, no, it was Shannon's comment. Okay, I'm sorry. So Shannon said, yeah, I had T-Mobile and they canceled my contract and gave me money as a sorry because they swore they had availability and didn't in West Virginia. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and Brenda points out Pagan Day of Prayer coming up.
Yes, Pagan Day of Prayer is March 25th. I will be doing the 3 o'clock block. We're doing it on the holy hours, so be sure to tune into that. That will probably be live streaming over here. Probably where you're watching, you will also be seeing that. But no, we're going to be streaming a few different things this week that is not our normal programming.
Yeah. Well, as an add-on to Shannon's comment, next time we'll tell you about my experience with Sprint. Just remind me.
I will. All right, darling.
But yeah. So I guess take it away, and we'll wait for this to come back around because we don't want to miss anyone. But we do appreciate our Patreon sponsors. We love our baristas. And we, of course, want to thank Beverly Walker. I didn't wait long enough. Mika, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, and Ashley Guest. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a Patreon sponsor or about the show, please visit pcspnetwork.com.
Yep. And also a note on Patreons. You guys will be getting Happy Mail probably next week.
Yes, we are sending more packages.
Yes. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. See you at a star if you're part of the Pagan Nexus. See you at Pagan Day of Prayer. And of course, we are always just a clicky click away. Bye, y'all.
Bye.